So the Sky Bet Championship fixtures for 2019-20 are out. Everyone at the club, all the fans getting very excited now as we count down to August the 4th. But let's get some fans' reaction with myself and Ben Parker. Andrew Stats Dalton is here with us as well. You might know him from Twitter, LUFC Stats with all the stats.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows. And James Lund as well from the LUFC Trust is here from the board. James, welcome and thanks for joining us. So let me ask the two of you first. What are your initial thoughts having seen the fixtures come out? We start with Bristol, of course, away, then Nottingham Forest at home, and it rolls on from there.
I think it's a tough start. I think going away from home to a side who was sort of up there, nearly up there towards the back end of last season, always tough down at Bristol, got a decent record, won the last two down there, last two seasons, but it's an opportunity to put a marker down like we did against Stoke City at home last season. And
James, for you look at that, does that get you sort of whet the appetite for the start of the season?
Absolutely. I always like a bit of a harder start where you look at paper and you think we can pick up some points there if we play well. I think that's the key, to start off the season in a good vein of form.
And Ben, from a player's point of view, former player for Leeds United, when you look at those fixtures coming out, do you want those toughies at the start, or do you want to kind of, let's ease ourselves into the season? How do the players look at it?
I think it's kind of dependent on how your pre-season goes initially. I think you don't want to hit the ground running. You just want to get to that first game. To be honest, I was more like, it doesn't really matter who was playing. I firmly believed in how we was, and I see a lot of similarities from the time when we got promoted to League One to where we are now. We had a disappointing playoff defeat to Millwall, and a lot of people talk about, can that be a bit of a hangover going to start the next season? It wasn't for us at the time. We thrived on that. We wanted to put that wrong into a right, and I firmly believe that this players and this staff will do that this year. So yeah, it's a difficult game first up, Bristol City, but one the players will be relishing. Okay,
there's no point in having someone with stats here if they're not going to give us any stats. So, Andrew, start of the season, Bristol City and opening day fixtures as well. You've got plenty to tell us.
Yeah, Bristol City, we actually played them the opening of the 1979-80 season all the way back. I wasn't born, I'm not that old. We drew 2-2 that day. Alan Curtis got both goals on debut, and then 2 years later he actually joined Swansea and scored 2 goals for Swansea against Leeds in a 5-1 victory for the Swans on the day one of 81-82. Opening day wise, we had a brilliant record sort of from 1990 after we'd won promotion from the second division. We didn't actually lose an opening day fixture until Derby County came down here on 2010 with Nigel Clough when Leeds were back in the Championship. So we've had a fantastic record. It's not been too good since then, but obviously the one that I think the last 2 against Bolton 2017-2018 and Stoke City 2018-2019. So if we make it a hat-trick against Bristol City come August.
Okay, you looked at all the facts, all the figures, all the stats. All we need to know is, does this mean that Leeds win this first game of the season?
Yes.
Excellent, that's all we need to know. Right, you can wrap up now. And James, for you, look at that Bristol City one away. Lee Johnson already talked about that. I mean, as soon as that fixture came out, a lot of people will look for Leeds United, won't they? That's what a lot of the clubs in the Sky Bet Championship do, and throughout the world as well. They want to know, when are they playing Leeds United. He's talked about a cup final atmosphere in that first game. It's certainly going to be spicy, to say the least.
Absolutely. I think there were a little bit of needle last season, weren't there, when we played them home and away, and like Ben said, let's take the disappointment of how last season ended and begin it with a bit between our teeth and really show what we're made of, because if we play like we played here against West Brom, we're the best team in the league.
And then, of course, it comes back here to Ellen Road, where it won't be us sat in the dugout, but it'll be the players hoping to take to the field at some point in the play. And Ben, Nottingham Forest at home. Nottingham Forest, one of those clubs at the start of the season, always feel like a little bit of an unknown quantity. You're not quite sure what they're going to do or not do.
Well, the two main people at the club, Martin O'Neill, Roy Keane, obviously history with the club ourselves. So, like you're saying, you don't know what their recruitment's going to be like. You don't know how they're going to start the season. But again, I'm a firm believer, concentrate on ourselves, get everything in order in our own house, hit the ground running, have a good pre-season, get fit, and the players proved last year how fit there was. That the fitness levels went through the roof. The fittest team I've seen coming down to watch a lot of games down here. So that'll be the key for our guys, because you can blow teams out of the water early parts of the season.
And Stats, you mentioned Stoke City at the opening game last season, which was just such a day for everyone in the sunshine, wasn't it? It was fantastic. Stoke and Swansea in the first 6 and in the last 6 of the fixtures that are coming up. Both two teams that underperformed last season, for want of a better word. What would we expect from them this season? It's hard to know now, but what would you expect them to do?
Certainly with Stoke, Rich, I think it's difficult because Nathan Jones had a difficult first half of the season. Never recorded, I think, his first victory against Leeds at Britannia back in January. I think they'll look like they're going to sell Jack Butland, so have a bit of money there. Swansea, another unknown quantity, just appointed Steve Cooper, former under-17s England manager. So again, a lot depends on Sandy. It's so difficult at this point of the season. It's a lot depending on recruitment, but you'd expect them to be certainly top 6 this time round.
And James, we said all the teams who look out for Leeds United. What were you looking out for when the fixtures came out? Where did your eyes go to immediately?
I did look for Huddersfield because there's obviously local derby and there's a few of my mates who are unfortunately Huddersfield fans.
And that's start of December.
Yep.
Huddersfield is away, and then we also play them. Just checking the exact date for you here. I can't see where they are. Oh, there we go. Let's hope we can't see where they are towards the end of the season. Start of March as well will be the home game there. So you look for that one initially.
I do, and also the Boxing Day fixture. It's always nice time with family and things, so it's good that we're at home to Preston this year. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, so it's at home to Preston, and then a couple of away games in the Midlands. Again, big games, Birmingham City and West Brom, Ben, who are certainly going to be looking to do what we're going to look to do this season, which is make amends for the end of their season.
Yeah, definitely. You start putting little chunks together in the season. You think that could be a difficult run of fixtures, but again, it's opposite for the teams going to play us. They'll be thinking, do we want to be playing the Leeds that time of year, this time of year? So it's going to be an open championship this year. I think the teams that are coming down, I don't think they'll invest quite a lot, probably compared to the couple of teams that I've done previously. So I think it's wide open. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting start to the season. But the first 6 games, they're all winnable for us. So yeah, we might not go out and win every game, but that's got to be our aim to get to that 18 points out of the first 6 in August, and then it gives you a massive platform to go build into your season.
Andrew, I'm on with the stats. A bit of a sort of strange one this season in February.
Yes.
7 games lined up. Of course, this might be dependent on cup runs for teams as well.
Yeah.
So, but parking that for a moment because we don't know what's going to happen there.
Yes.
But with it being a leap year and with the first landing on a Saturday, there are 7 games in February. Has that ever happened before? Do we think?
From memory, I remember we played Luton Town back in 1992 on leap year day when I think Eric Cantona scored his first goal for the club. I can't remember too often that it's happened in February, but it could be another vital period, another vital chunk of the season, and hopefully we're in a position where we can sort of push on and get that place back in the Premier League.
James, dare we look to the run-in already for next season? But when we look at those final fixtures, the final 4, Swansea, Barnsley, Derby, and then Charlton at home. Lee Bowyer, of course, will be making his return here to Elland Road with promoted Charlton. Again, is that something that fills fear into you, or...?
Not particularly. I think on paper they're winnable games, but this league isn't played on paper, and I think you never know who's going to be there or thereabouts year on year. And until the season starts, until it's February time, you'll know how difficult the run is to the end, basically. I remember playing Middlesbrough here quite early on, and they looked like they were going to be up and thereabouts, and I said to some Middlesbrough fans when we walked away, really foolishly as it turned out, but if anyone finishes above us too, they'll be a really good side, and they'll be worthwhile going up, and well too. And
it's okay. Do you need an arm round you? It
okay. Still hurts.
When you look at the fixtures in terms of away games, which of those that stand out? You think I'm looking forward to that trip?
Fulham away is always an easy one, isn't it? It's a nice saunt down to the capital. A few that stick out, probably, let's say Derby. I think they're going to be really, really enjoyable fixtures this year from kind of a away day point of view. I enjoyed going to the Hawthorns last year as well. And despite the result,
a point of view of covering the miles, Norwich and Ipswich don't have to worry about that at least.
Yes, the sort of southern sides have gone. I think, sort of from my perspective, Jonathan Woodgate with Middlesbrough, Lee Bowyer with Charlton, it's all very 1990s-esque as well. So I think Bowyer will get a brilliant reception, and hopefully come that May the 2nd, I'll be celebrating my birthday and celebrating promotion at long last.
A double celebration, that's what we're hoping for on May the 2nd. But a long way to go. It will all kick off, of course, on August the 4th, Sunday, 4:30. Bristol City away will bring you all the action here on LUTV. Thank you all for joining us.
Cheers, thank you.